Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And all right. Golly. You know, that was pretty good. Film Independent, thank you for this. The other nominees as well. I've been fortunate enough to be up here and receive an award among some of these other nominees a few times, and each time I just want to make sure I'm saying how privileged it is to be in the company of the other actors in this group. A really good, strong year for independent film. Another one that I was a part of, we spoke about earlier, one of my favorite films that I've ever made, the one I cannot wait to show my son Levi when he's old enough, the one that I know my father would have grabbed me around the arm and said, hey buddy, I want to come watch this movie with me. Mud. That's what I want to bring up. I mean, I'm always thinking about what is it that I love about making independent films, and what is an independent film? I know it's one that, as an actor, it's one that I go, boy, I'm going to really choose the experience here. I'm not choosing, they come with less zeros on the paycheck. They come with not a lot of people in town wanting to make them, or they wouldn't be the independent film. Some people are making them so they can inaugurate themselves to get into the filmmaking business. Other times, if you're in the filmmaking business, you go make it independent because it's over there on the feeder road. It's not an Autobahn film. It's not a freeway. It's not even an I-35. It's much less a two-lane highway. It's a feeder road. Sometimes it's gravel, sometimes it's blacktop, sometimes it's dirt, but that's the subject matter that independent films usually take upon themselves. So what do you got to have when you don't have enough money, you don't have enough time? You've got to have a lot of people that are completely obsessed with just telling that story, because you're all walking the same proverbial plank together, and there's not a safety net. And there's a freedom that comes with that, where you're forced to get creative just because you don't have the time and you don't have the money, and you only got people with you that are right there, and someone's going to come up to you at the end of the day and say, that's a wrap, and you go, oh, it's time to go home? Because you lost track of time, because you're in the bubble. You're in with everybody. There's not time to be overly considerate. You have to do all the consideration in pre-production, because when we show up, we don't have time to ask each other, hey, what's this scene about? Now, there's a freedom that comes with that. I've been in independent films where they get one take. And I remember the first time that happened, I was like, oh, shit, one take. But then it all of a sudden hit me. Wait a minute, there's a freedom in that, because we only got one take. So let it rip. Now, everyone's walking that proverbial plank in independent films in a lot of ways, and that's part of the creative freedom and juice that I know I get out of doing it. I try to carry that over when I go do films with larger, more considerate budgets. Because I know when it does get slow or laborious or overly considerate, or try to bring it back to the middle, I miss that feeling. As independent filmmakers, when we're making an independent film, obviously we are the underdogs. Somebody didn't want to make that film because wasn't going to put too much change in their pocket, and that's okay. It usually doesn't have guarantee that it's going to be offered to the masses in a large scope. So what helps? Word of mouth. First, you got to make good film. Then you got to have some word of mouth. And you got to have distribution, which I know we did with Dallas Buyers Club with Focus, that is very deliberate and particular about how they're going to platform release this film and this story. You don't know if they're going to take a hold. You don't know if they're going to live on. Someone's got to talk about them. Someone's got to share the word, and they have to affect and translate and communicate with some people. A good independent film is more than an experiment. I know I've been a part of some films that were experiments. When I was in film school, I made some films that were merely experiments. They were not important. They were not entertaining. I think a good independent film usually comes with some import. It's going to be some good medicine. The Dallas Buyers Club, for one. Boy, I read that script. We knew we had good medicine. We knew we had something that, well, this is important. You should go see it. 12 Years a Slave. It's important. You should go see it. It's going to be good for us as humankind. But how do we know it's going to be that other thing? Entertaining. Boy, a good one is important and entertaining. That's what we got away with, I feel like, on Dallas Buyers Club. And I'm real happy and proud to be standing here with that today. It was a true independent film. We had a little more than $42,000, which I heard earlier, but we had under 5, and we shot it in 25 days, and such a privilege to be able to go tell this man's story about this subject. In 1986, it's still so prevalent today. I've had so many people come up to me that said, you know what, I lost a friend at that time to HIV. I've had a whole new generation, people come up to me, younger people come up and go, I had no idea that that's what it was like when HIV and AIDS were at the inception upon America. I had no idea. So come a long way. Obviously, the prescription for HIV's got people living longer and healthier lives, and there's still a way to go. But I'm glad we got to tell Ron Woodruff's story. Just keep living. Yeah.